Dancia, much less aggressive than Korth, but no less emotional, answered the champion's questions readily to the best of her ability. But it was soon obvious that her opinion of the prince and those around him was colored by her personal and unrequited feelings. Though with her help, Scratch was able to determine that a motivation behind harming the prince could be removing his voice from the war room, as he had been calling for a more proactive approach to the Drow incursion. With this knowledge, the champions decided they must search the king's private chambers, as their constant disagreements cast a shadow over his intentions. Though many treasures lie within, the most dangerous discovery came from the king's personal desk, a letter with a wax seal emblazoned with the emblem of a spider within a circle, and a pair of interlocking rings on its abdomen.
The case she is solved. It was the king.
You're a genius!
No shit.
I was at the back in the room earlier.
What do you mean, no shit?
I
It was the king. This is the biggest case of my career.
And who decides if you live or die?
Point well taken.
Well, I figure the first thing we should do is go talk to Korth again.
Yes, that's probably the best.
I'm just confused on why the king... I thought families were supposed to love each other.
Not all families love each other.
Oh, you are young and innocent, and someday you will probably learn. But today is not that day.
So let's go see Korth.
So you head down into the dungeons. Korth is still in his cell. Keep in mind that there is a guard nearby when you are speaking with him.
Yeah, this...
Hey, Francois.
Oui.
I think that guard may have seen something. Go interrogate him.
Francois looks at you, looks at the guard. It is perhaps best to be sure. And walks up to the guard and begins talking. So I need to ask you a few questions about the movements of and the actions and behaviors of the prisoner while we were out of the room. If you could please step aside with me for one moment.
Make a charisma check.
Oh, he says it in that voice?
He says it in character.
In character. Oh, you wish for me to make a charisma check? He twirls his little fire mustache. Oh, my dear, I am so sorry that you have to go up against the greatest mastermind there ever was. Not with that roll. I'm rolling again. That's better.
What do you mean you're rolling again?
That's none of your goddamn business, Bryan.
I'm the dungeon master, kind of.
Fuck off. Charisma. I rolled a 14. And that is the number I'm sticking with, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
I feel like there's a lot of editing that's gonna happen here.
I feel like I do not give...
Joke's on you, there's zero editing going on here.
Oh.
This is all going into the game. I rolled a 14. Oh, my dear, please, can you not tell with my beautiful roll of 14 that you wish to come and step aside and talk to me?
I feel like you took advantage on that roll when you shouldn't have, so
Whatever are you talking about?
As we go aside and talk.
I twirl my mustache very alluringly.
I'm flattered, but I do not swing that way.
That is not what I'm talking about. I am asking for questions about the prisoner, and
I don't really have any questions about the prisoner.
As a representative of the king's investigation, you must answer my questions.
I mean, what questions do you have?
So, I look at this. Wow, he's better than I thought. and we go up to Korth while they're arguing about whether he rolled high enough to ask him questions.
So you go up to Korth, who is still sitting in his cell.
Piper, this is you.
Yes, send the one he dislikes.
Oh, wait, that's right. He
Yes.
hates you.
No, he's mad at me because I tried to use my mental stability and he passed. And actually, Piper is jotting a note in her notebook. Getting that ready.
Hey, Korth.
Yes.
We seem to have finished our investigation.
From the back you hear, just because we are in the middle of an investigation does not mean you can give me attitude.
It also doesn't mean you can just take advantage on any role you want.
I think that it does. I think that there's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do? I'm an NPC. You cannot just drop rocks on me.
I mean, you're a PC. I can drop rocks on you. That's not the point.
I am not going... I have no attachment to this character.
Anyway, back to Korth. And, what findings have you come to?
You're going to the gallows, boy.
Play bad cop?
Holy shit, man! Wow, okay. Well, we know who did it, but we can't prove it, and they're above the law.
I mean, who's really above the law in this kingdom?
The king.
You hear from the background, listen to me! Just because you are the DM does not mean that I am not above the law when I am operating via the internet in my apartment.
Yeah, but it means I can also bullshit my own roles against
I
you.
suppose that is true, but what do you want? Do you want to have an entertaining story or not?
I mean, failure can be just as entertaining as success.
Back to Korth.
King? Why would the king... How would the king?
Yeah. Necromancy.
Necromancy. I mean,
He's been keeping the prince sick on purpose.
The king might be a wizard.
he had some strange interests after the queen died. He started looking into magic, old magic. A lot of us thought he was just trying to find a way to bring her back, but he spoke to the clerics about it, he spoke to the paladins about it, and it seemed like he'd finally accepted that she was gone, and he was just looking into different magics as a means of occupying his mind with something else.
Well, now he seems to be speaking with a drow army about it.
Why would he be speaking? How would he be speaking with, I guess, magic, but he never showed any aptitude for it.
He had a letter.
Letter.
He had a letter from them, instructing him to deal with the two of you. You and Dancia.
I lead the military, or what military there is, and she leads the healers. At least, she gives the commands. Cut off the heads of a snake.
And the prince is the only one trying to get an offense together to fight back this army.
Take out the only people who can command an offensive. Take out the only person who wants an offensive. Leave yourself on your back foot. It's asking to be conquered. Almost like he was getting ready to just hand the city over.
Have to wonder what they were willing to give him in exchange for the city.
Listen, I have had 4 requests for transfers in the last month alone.
I mean, working the castle's pretty boring, so we try to move around a bit.
Yes, but I do not know why the king would want to explicitly get me sent somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, he finds you extremely annoying.
Really?
I think it's the accent, to be fair. He has trouble understanding you.
That just seems racist.
I mean,
Could be racist.
he's a king. I mean, there's worse things he could be than a little racist. You know, genocidal.
And back to Korth.
Problem is, do you have evidence of this?
Nothing we can prove. We can prove it wasn't you. We know it wasn't Dancia. We found the letter in his secret study.
You know, where we weren't supposed to check.
You prove me innocent is essentially the same as proving Dancia guilty. You say that you went in there, you might as well just walk yourselves out to the gallows too. Need to expose him as a traitor to the country instead of some of us as traitors to the king.
Is there someone above the king?
No one's above the king, but if the king is deemed unfit to rule, then power passes to the son.
But who has the power to deem him unfit to rule?
Well, it's not one person who has the power. Myself, Dancia, any of the other faction leaders in the city, you need at least 2 or 3.
What factions exactly?
Any of the leaders of the main churches would do. The problem is there's only 2 left. If you have anyone that you're connected to in that church, that could help you.
We do actually are in connection with Vicar Celis Milan at the Blazing Glory, thanks to Credad, actually.
She is definitely high in ranking enough that this could work. The problem is getting me and Dancia out of here.
Yes, which we have a finite amount of time to do.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to be hanged in the morning.
How many hours do we have left?
You probably have 3 or 4 hours. It's probably getting
Oh, fuck.
to like 2 or 3 in the morning, and it's going to be sunrise. They get marched out.
We need to get word out to the Temple of Blazing Glory as soon as possible, then. Who else has that authority? Who else do we need to speak with?
Do you have any pull with the Merchants Guild?
Not really.
Alright, well, if the vicar is going to be a loud voice, and if she can call to have this happen, then the evidence will get closer attention. They'll probably call in the nobles to see it. They may not allow me or Dancia to vote on things because of our current situation. But her voice would be enough to at least delay his actions, which could put him in a corner. If he starts trying to work around our laws, it's just as damning as if you had a signature that from him saying that he betrayed us.
We just need a way to stop the execution.
If we can stop the execution, a further investigation can be done and bring things to light.
Listen, I am trying to ask you simple questions about the prisoner. I need to gather more evidence, and if he is going to be executed in a few hours, how can I gather more evidence? Do you understand?
I mean, my job is just to stand here and make sure he doesn't go anywhere, so no.
I feel like at that point, all of your heads turn and look at Francois. I have the authority to conduct this investigation. I need to get more expert testimony, and you're telling me that you have nothing to give me?
I mean, he shat like an hour ago.
There, now we're getting somewhere.
I think it's still in the chamber pot. Why don't you go look?
Maybe I will.
All right, then.
Thank you for your help, Korth. Do we need to talk to Dancia?
Maybe not. I mean, just to keep her up to speed on what's going on.
I don't know. Do you want to go talk to the crying woman?
Not really.
Really don't.
I mean, if we want to make her cry more.
You just enjoy making her cry.
No. Maybe.
Oh, JJ never change.
As Francois goes to, inspect the chamber pot, I'm just going to put my hand on your arm. Since you're in charge of the investigation, can we use your authority to call in an expert from outside the castle?
He twirls his mustache. He looks a little... He's glad that somebody is acknowledging his authority.
And definitely just, bat my eyelashes a little bit.
Yeah. Finally, someone has respect for authority around here.
Someone has to.
Really, I believe that I could arrange for an expert. I could arrange for an expert to come in and examine some of the evidence.
I can write the missive to send to the expert to let them know what's going on to come. If you the authority.
That also might be a good way for us to
buy more time.
To buy us some more time. Very, very good. Who is this expert you wish to call in?
Vicar Milan at the Temple of Blazing Glory.
Beautiful, wonderful. group, that whole temple. They always work very well with me.
Yes, they're wonderful individuals.
Yes, I think that might be a very good. Yes, calling in the paladins. I think that is a very good move. I think that will certainly they cannot say no to the paladins coming into the castle, and with my authority to bring them in. Yes, wonderful.
And I can have somebody, with your permission, of course, have somebody trustworthy bring the missive, if they are escorted through the maze.
Wonderful. Who do you have in mind for that?
Flynn.
Flynn's the blacksmith?
Yes.
Very well, I see. He kind of like wiggles his eyebrows a little bit. Oh, yes, of course. Yes, this is perfectly fine. If you write your missive, then I think I can have that sent out. Do you hear me, Bryan? He like calls back to the guard. We will be having a missive sent out, and we will need a message sent.
Okay.
To bring in outside experts. And in the meantime, I need you to come and assist me. Please let me in so that I may examine the droppings.
You really don't need to. You really don't need to do that. This is more important.
So, if for no other reason, we're going to segue out of the dungeons to get away from the poop jokes.
Need to go actually ask Flynn to bring the message.
Yeah. So you find Flynn in your room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's gone back to bed as you told him to, basically.
Yeah.
Poor man got no sleep tonight.
Feel so bad waking him up.
I don't.
And just kind of go over and just like kiss his cheek.
He doesn't really stir much. He seems a bit worn out.
It's my fault. Flynn, dear. I am really sorry to have to wake you.
Uh-huh. He doesn't open his eyes, but you can see, like, okay, what's this going to be?
I need a favor, unfortunately.
If it's anything like the last favor, I don't mind obliging, but you might want to give me a minute.
Yeah. Perhaps later after this is handled.
Pay you back.
Oh, absolutely, pay you back in spades. I need you to take a message over to the Temple of Blazing Glory.
Blazing Glory.
He kind of opens one eye, is like, really? What's going on with them?
We need Vicar Melon to come and help expose the one who is behind all of this.
Alright. When am I getting answers about this?
Either from the vicar or once you get back.
Alright. He'll get up and start getting dressed because he's not wearing a damn thing.
Nah, just
Hey! Slowly.
appreciative look.
And he puts on his blacksmithing gear, not, the nice clothes that he had.
So while that's happening, can I go back to my room and get my fucking armor and shit back on?
Oh yes, you most certainly may.
Yeah. Definitely fix myself, gear up for this. Now we're not just investigating.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that there may be a fight coming our way, so we might want to be prepared.
So Flynn gets geared up with his stuff, takes your letter.
Francois has all the paperwork or whatever.
As he takes the letter, he just kind of bops you on the head with it and goes, "Don't do anything stupid."
I won't. Thank
That's her
you.
middle name.
Anything stupid? Piper, anything stupid, whatever her last name is?
Nobody knows.
So he's going to head out and, under Francois' directives, be led out into the maze. And you are all there with a 3-hour timer ticking before the sun rises.
No pressure.
And yeah, and the gallows get 1 or 2 new dancers.
My money's on 2.
That's dark.
My money's on 5.
Safe bet. So I also go back to my room and gather equipment.
Could I have posted Tutti near where the king and the prince are, just to kind of keep an...
Sure.
I don't know if he'll be allowed in the room, but keep an ear out.
Why don't you go check on the prince? That might be a good something that you can do.
Actually, yeah. Could we check on the prince?
Sure. If you'll have to ask around a little bit because you weren't told exactly where they were going. But it turns out they're in the throne room where a cot has been set up for the prince.
Oh.
So when you send Tootie to stand watch, it's pretty easy for Tootie to find a perch somewhere because it's this big open room.
Yeah.
Now the remnants of the feast are there. Because the throne room is really where like people assemble. That's why it's so large. The nobles would stand on the sides and watch court being held. They brought the tables in for feasting. It's a large open area, but it feels much bigger now because there's only 4 people in the room. There's the prince on the cot, the king, and a pair of morning stars.
Oh boy.
The king is chilling with his son.
Well, the king is sitting next to the cot, like, watching over him.
Pretending he cares.
Yeah.
Make an insight check.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretending he cares, I hope he dies.
Ooh.
And I rolled low.
So did I. 10.
18.
And I'm telling you the truth this time, Brian.
Surprisingly.
But he rolled a 22.
Fuck.
Oh dear.
So
Oh.
he looks emotional, concerned, distraught.
That poor man.
And Piper, I guess, as Kreg goes, that poor man, you're like, damn, he's good.
Yeah, he is putting on a very good act.
But do you approach? Do you just stand and observe?
I would like to go up.
All right, so
Same.
you approach. The 2 of you approach.
I'm
And as you do approach, the king will address you. How goes the investigation?
We wish to take a look at the prince.
He kind of looks up at you quizzically.
You can, hold on. Before you...
Well, I was going to say, he would be like, you suspect there may be some evidence attached to him still?
I mean, we are just worried about him.
We were concerned about him, and we do not know.
You see him pause for a moment, as if considering, and then he'll give you a nod. He doesn't step away, but
Of course not.
he doesn't, order you be removed.
Yep. So I would like to make a medicine check.
All right.
I would
If my-
like to assist, though I'm not proficient.
I got a +7 to. I am proficient in medicine, so.
That's a 14 on the die plus, so
That
I can
will
help.
give Scratch advantage, yes.
Okay. So at advantage, 19.
He is what should be a healthy young man. He does not seem to be in the best of health, but you cannot find a reason why he would not be in the best of health. Though with a 19, you recognize the cause behind this is not natural, and medicine is not going to be the cure.
Would this be an Arcana check?
This would be an Arcana check. The medicine check determines there's nothing physically wrong with him. Medically, there is nothing wrong with him. There is something magically wrong.
Is Piper proficient in Arcana?
No, but I do have a +4.
So I will try and give you advantage, I guess. Which I do not do.
Piper, go ahead and roll.
Nah, that's a 2 on the die, so a 6.
With the medicine check, you know that there's something arcane wrong. You can tell that there's something arcane that's wrong here. But the magic between Scratch's no experience with magic and Piper's difficulties ever grasping the basic concepts,
literally chose the worst two people to do an Arcana check. Yeah.
Yeah. Piper never really grasped the basic concepts of learned magic. So you recognize that this is probably some wizard shit, but you don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I got a 14.
With the 14, you do recognize that there is some kind of magical dampening being put on him, almost as though something is pressing down on him. It's depleting him. It's holding him back. It's a tether to something else. But you don't know what he's tethered to. You don't know what it's for. You just know that there's some kind of aura wrapped around him that you cannot identify. You would also recognize that this kind of magic, probably necromantic in nature, can be done with both arcane and divine magic.
Oh. Okay. Prince is unconscious still, so...
Prince is unconscious. He is out cold. He is laying there in his sleeping, you know, that long white sleeping gown that you always see in movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing that, and he's wearing his gold medallion and pendant, but that's about it.
Is it all right if my cat sits with him? The purrs can be kind of therapeutic and help healing.
Good one. I like that.
Your familiar may stay, yes.
So Tutti will hop up, kind of do biscuits like against the bicep and kind of curl up next to him and start purring.
And then I'm gonna step back.
I will follow, bow my head to the king and step back with Scratch.
Is the king looking to Francois to give like a report?
No, he seems to be focused on his son.
Okay. Francois' gonna stay quiet.
There's windows in this room, right? Is there windows? Oh.
There are large, there are windows, but they are paned in glass.
Is there a sill? Is there a window sill I can sit on?
No, these are the high windows,
Okay.
Flat, completely flush, and the sun's not coming up yet, but you do see that the sky is lightening slightly.
Brian, out of curiosity, how long should it take from point A to point B when Flynn left?
When Flynn left, with the urgency that you sent him, he should be able to get to the temple within half an hour.
Okay, so give or take hour and a half back, so...
Well, there's definitely nothing physically wrong with him.
No, there's some lizard shit though.
It appears magical in
Yeah.
some way.
Yes, it is very peculiar and quite outside of my considerable area of expertise. But if you are able to find someone who was more well versed in the arcana magical arts, you might be able to get a little more information about the source.
What about Karenina?
That's a good point, but unfortunate.
Ah, shit. Let's go wake up Karenina.
Alright, so you can find Karenina's chambers quite easily. Guards will direct you. And while it's not the most ornate door in the place that would belong to the king and whatnot, you can definitely tell that it is polished and well kept as you approach.
I want there to be a good luck charm over the door.
What would that good luck charm be?
That's a good question. Ooh, I want it to be so it's it's a sprig of berries and greenery, and then it has a little mouse skull in the middle of it.
Jeez, that got dark.
Right, but you wouldn't expect it from her, right?
Holly berries and mouse skull nailed above the door.
Yeah. Because it's gonna. I want it to be it's like a local charm or something from.
I was like, a pleasant warning.
Yes. But it's very pretty. It's very tasteful.
God, that's so tasteful.
I go and knock on the door, and there is no tack to how he does this. It's in normal Kreg fashion. loud and obnoxious.
So Karenina,
So yeah, so actually a maid, like a lady's maid, opens the door and
very tired looking ladies. Man.
yes, very sleepy looking. Yes.
You're not Karenina.
No, I'm Abigail. I'm her lady's maid. How can I? Who are you? No, she would know. She would know who you are. What is the cause of the disturbance?
We need to talk to Karenina about things. It's of the utmost importance.
It's the middle of the night.
And it's a very time-sensitive issue, unfortunately.
Francois steps towards Abigail. I am so sorry to impose, but I as part of an investigation, I believe that my colleagues here need to speak to Vizier Mabnar, please. Abigail looks at you guys and looks at Francois and nods and says, "Just one moment."
Thank you.
And the door closes, and like a good number of minutes go by. Like she is not rushing at all.
So I think this is a job for Jelltur.
But Piper, her best friend.
She does like you the best out of all of us.
What? You guys got along so well, though. You guys was like going back and forth, you know, having a laugh here and there.
What about me? I think she likes me.
Jelltur, sweetie,
What's up?
you should do the talking. And you're lucky I'm in a very good mood despite everything that's going on.
Yes, I think that it would be a good idea for Jelltur to talk to her because I do not think that she likes me very much either.
Hey, what did you do to her?
We have had some run-ins in the past. I shall leave it at that. mostly because I don't want to have a conversation with myself.
There's also the whole fact of Francois is such a man. Karenina could not handle that.
So what does that say about me then?
Well, that's true. You are also such a man, but she likes you.
Nice backpedal.
And then after however much time it is, Abigail opens the door again and gestures you inside to the sitting parlor kind of area of the chambers, because it's not her bedroom. It's, it's like a receiving kind of an area. And Karenina is seated, very bleary-eyed. She's in like a very frilly, like a robe, and she's sitting in a chair and sipping at a cup of tea and is like, "This better be good."
I kind of nudge you forward with my tail, just ever so slightly, like, go on.
Yes, Karenina. Yeah, sorry about waking you, really. We have a speaker, Milan? We have the leader of the church coming, and we would like for you to speak with her.
Or at least hear her talk.
Or at least hear her out.
She raises her eyebrows. "You woke me up in the middle of the night to have a chat with a paladin."
Well, I mean, considering what's happened tonight, this is
What's happened
Does
tonight?
she not know what happened tonight?
Nope.
No.
It
Oh.
was an attack on
fuck.
the prince.
Yeah, she has no idea what's going on.
Someone tried to assassinate the prince.
What?
Oh.
That's. She looks to Abigail.
Why do you think Francois is here?
That's a good question. Why is Francois there?
Yeah, he's the head of investigation.
He was standing in the back. Oh, god damn it! I do have to talk to myself.
There we go.
It's a rite of
Alright.
passage.
All right, Francois takes a step forward. Vizier Mabnar, I am so sorry that we have awakened you, but yes, there was an assassination attempt on His Highness the Prince this evening, and they have been this motley crew has been enrolled in as my assistants for this investigation, and we are. Remind Sarah, what there was a ghost or something? There was like a
Shadow.
figure.
Shadow.
He casts exposition, and he wraps it up with, and while we understand the incredulity that you may be having right now, these fine folks thought that you would be a great help in assessing the arcane nature of what is going on with the prince. And as the shadowy one has said, We have summoned Vicar Milan. So Karenina looks very shocked that something like this has happened. She looks at Abigail and gives like a nod, who walks out the door to go and confirm all of this. And she kind of takes a sip of tea and she's considering. And you all have been helping with the investigation. Well, who do you think it was responsible for this then?
Someone.
Someone, well, yes, presumably. It seems surprising to me that Korth or Dancia would do something like this, but there's...
Well, that's because they didn't.
They didn't. You said that you sent for the vicar, so you must have some sort of... And I understand your need for a master of the arcane. She gives a pointed look at Piper, because I'm sure you don't have anyone amongst your group who can, but I fail to see what it is that I am needed for.
It's the king.
Karenina's... Her eyes go somehow even wider, and you get a glimpse of curlers in her hair because the illusion has flickered slightly. And she goes, "Excuse me?"
Oh, we know it's the king.
It's where all the evidence has unfortunately pointed us, which is why we need the vicar to help confirm.
All the evidence points to His Majesty the King. That is a terribly grave accusation.
That's what we call the vicar.
It is not an accusation we make lightly.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of made it at the start, but you know.
Yes, having seen your handiwork firsthand, I can understand that you would not just throw this around. What is it that you are asking of me?
We need you to be there when the vicar arrives. We need your knowledge of the magic arts to help identify the source of the attack. And you are very knowledgeable of how your political system works, whereas we are less so.
Indeed.
It seems like he's working with the... Remember what we found in the cave after dealing with the gnolls?
The map, yes.
It seems like he's working with them. We found a letter.
He appears to intend to just hand the city over to that army that is on its way here.
As far as the king knows, that army on the way here this is their new outpost.
This is their new outpost.
It's a pretty big army.
I find this all very hard to believe.
Piper, you have a copy of that note?
I flip to the page where the copy of the note is, and I hand it to you.
Okay, she reads it. Brian, can you read it to me again?
We have upheld our end of the bargain. Normally one makes such a transition on their own, but now the Queen of the Many Eyes has blessed you. You have the power to bring your city into the glories of the new world we will build. I caution you to be wary of where you put this item, as without it, you will be powerless. Death cannot wholly be avoided by any other than the gods, but even the gods here will tremble. Beware the cleric and the knight, for they can still cause us grief. Remove them subtly if possible, but soon. The Avatar of the Eight.
So as she reads the copy of the note, you can see her eyebrows are furrowing, and she looks very uncomfortable with it. But you can also kind of tell that she's not like this, you know, she's not 100% sure that she wants to buy into this. So she hands you back the journal, and she kind of stirs her tea a little bit and takes a sip, and she says, "Well, I understand why it is that you would require my assistance in perhaps identifying the source of this or the location of this item. But I do need to make you very well aware that should you be proven wrong, you will hang for this accusation of treason."
I kind of wish we were wrong.
I
To
don't.
be honest with you. With the exception of the sentencing, of course, but a king doing this to his people, to his own son.
As we said, this is not something we do lightly.
She puts down the cup of tea and she looks to Francois, who just kind of like nods And she stands up and she kind of walks over to like a dresser on the side and just kind of, there's like a stone, like there's like a flat stone with like kind of like a divot in it, and she just kind of like runs her hands through the divot and kind of, you can see she's like thinking very intensely about like what this would mean if it happens to be true.
A worry stone.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And she turns back to them and she says, "Very well. You understand the consequences of what it will mean if you are incorrect."
Yeah, we're not.
She kind of like side-eyes you a little. I respect the confidence.
I mean, when you hold the stuff in your own two hands.
It's kind of hard to ignore.
And you say Vicar Milan is on their way at this moment.
How long has it been?
Should be.
At some point, Abigail comes back in and comes over and kind of quietly whispers into Karenina's ear, and she nods and gives a small command to her, and Abigail goes off into another room. And she says, "Very well, I shall meet you down in the throne room very shortly. You are dismissed." And she turns and goes and starts doing stuff, and you guys are to leave.
You know, I was going to, as we walk out, I was going to say thank you until she said you are dismissed, like I'm some sort of bad school child.
I mean, to be fair, we are in her room.
It's just, I love how I'm like about to say, thank you for, listening to us and being, open to coming and listening. Nope, you are dismissed. Fuck you.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Still the same person. Still Karenina.
All right, so you guys head back to the throne room.
So, what if the king's name was Harry?
Harry King?
No, you're a wizard, Harry.
I hate you and I love you. Damn it, JJ.
As you leave, Francois leads into Piper and is like, "She's a real bitch, right?"
Yes.
And
Thank
like
you.
that, like that, he gets more attractive.
Yes, he does, actually.
Yeah.
Oh no, she seemed pretty reasonable at that time.
So as you approach the throne room again, you do see there are some regular guards standing there, but one of them is holding something that's unusual. A very long lance that he is not equipped to wield.
That's weird.
He's like holding it up. He's not holding it ready to fight. He's holding it like, okay, what do I do now? Like, that's the kind of look.
Why are you holding that?
The vicar is here and
Oh,
not allowed to take her weapons into the throne room.
It's her lance. I got it.
Yeah, it's her lance. She's not allowed to take it into the throne room, so he's holding it, but
Got it.
it's bigger than him, and he doesn't know what to do with it.
I don't know, like stand it up or something.
I don't want to put it on the wall, because either I'm going to scratch it or the wall.
Probably
Very sharp at the end there.
No one's gonna notice.
Karenina will notice.
I mean, maybe Karenina might. Karenina might notice.
Like he said, no one important will notice.
I mean, if you want to kill yourself, man, spear. Fine, by all means, man.
But you also see that there are a couple guards that have additional swords and shields as well.
Like holding
So
them
you
or
get the
armed
feeling-
with them.
Like they're holding onto them for someone else. It seems like the vicar came with more than just herself.
Okay, smart.
So as you enter into the throne room, Vicar Milan will be standing there. She is decked out, full armor, full regalia, no shield, no weapon, and she has two other paladins with her. But just her. And actually, for the sake of it, you recognize the two paladins.
Aww.
Oh, it's those guys.
Yeah.
It's the two that
two
were
from
with.
or Kurdad.
So you recognize Paul and Tina
Pause.
without their weapons, but they are still in their full armor. Vicar Milan is wearing a long, stylish cloak, almost like she is there in full capacity.
She came ready to dance.
Came ready to dance. Like, the armor is in case of a fight. The cloak is there as a symbol of her station. So she is...
So she believed you.
She believed you, yeah.
or at least trusted you enough that you wouldn't be wasting her time with this.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll turn and look at you and go, "We have not yet been fully announced. We've been waiting on you and whatever cohort you have prepared for this."
We are waiting on one more, but thank you for responding.
Well, you have done me a good service more than once. It seemed the proper thing to do, just in case your suspicions were correct.
Have we? Wait, what? What I
You
missed?
brought her the armband.
You didn't do shit.
You didn't do shit. You were actually working against her interests.
It was like, Justice was like, did we? She said we did it for me. Justice was like, what did we? When did this happen?
You saved one of her paladins from basically being executed, and you brought her the armband from an evil god to be locked away. You've proven yourselves.
Are they telling me this, or am I just sitting there like,
No, this
JJ
is-
doesn't. Yeah, Jelltur doesn't know who this is.
Jelltur, you're seeing a very large half-orc woman in, like, plate mail armor, shining, like, there's almost like a little hue to her alone.
damn, when did you guys get into where I was going?
And she turns and looks at you and goes, "The Temple of Blazing Glory."
Blazing glory.
Are you guys religious?
Well, those of us
Are
at
you
the
guys
temple are,
Well, I
yes.
didn't mean that. I was just in the party.
Oh. Are you guys religious? We're a temple, yes.
Jelltur, we told you all about this already.
You remember Kerdad? Kerdad is one of her paladins.
That's where she was from. Crazy.
They, technically.
That's where they were from. Crazy.
And a few moments later, Karenina, you will arrive.
Mm-hmm.
However you feel you should be dressed.
You have not seen her looking quite so simple. Like, she looks like it's almost like I want to say like kind of like a justice robe. Like, it's just like it's a very plain robe.
But finely crafted, of course.
Of course, everything's finely crafted. And she is still wearing like tall shoes. And she has like a hat on that's kind of like covering like her hair situation. Like, you can tell she just like put on a nice hat.
She's kind of like in her Archmage official stuff, yeah.
Yeah. She looks very much like, oh, I'm here as the vizier. Like, this is, yeah. She shows up and she gives a polite nod to the vicar. Vicar Milan?
The vicar will return it. Vizier, it's a pleasure to see you again.
Well, we shall see if it is quite a pleasure under these circumstances.
Shall.
And I certainly hope for both your sake and mine that what we have both heard this evening is, well, I don't wish it to be true, but if it is... And she trails off.
The vicar will kind of nod and go, "Then let us find out." She turns and she starts walking forward. She has no weapon, but you get the feeling like if she did, it would be out and ready from her stance as she's walking.
And Karenina is like walking like right, like she doesn't want the vicar to be like the first one, like you can see her like kind of like scoot a little bit to be up like right alongside her.
So, Brian, does that mean that my bow and my arrows I couldn't bring them in here?
No one checked you at the gate. They did check the giant half-orc with a giant lance.
Where are we? Were we at the door to the throne room?
So we have our weapons.
You would have your weapons, mostly because the guards are distracted at this moment.
Ooh, okay.
Fair.
I just need to know if I need to leave them at the door or bring them in.
Yeah.
And no, remember the guard is like trying to balance the lance while the other two were like, just lean it against the wall. No, Karenina will yell at me. Like, the Morning Stars are in there. They're not out here. The competent ones are in there.
So, like, if things were to go down, they would handle us.
Yeah. So as you're approaching, the Morning Stars are going to notice that you have weapons, and they're going to tense up and start to step forward. But Karenina, I need you to make a quick perception check for me.
Yeah, sure. Also, and Francois, by the way, is like walking up like just slightly behind the vicar. Like he is technically still in charge of the investigation.
Right, behind isn't going to see
So
this. Next to will.
Okay. Oh, what am I rolling? Perception? Not good. I did not roll well. I rolled under 10.
So, the vicar actually staggers a step. And... she staggers a step, and now you're going to look up, and you catch just the tail end of her eyes. They were glowing slightly, and then they're fading. And her jaw is just open. And then she snarls.
And, yeah, no, that's all we needed.
Something in Orcish, and only one of you speaks Orcish, am I correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Kreg, you hear her utter the word, Lich!
But Kreg is the only one who knows what happened because Corinna
Right.
didn't see this
Does-
happen.
You know what? Craig's not an arcane person. Does he even know what a lich is?
Roll a history.
Oh, good. The only intelligence thing I'm kind of good at. Okay, that's not horrible. That's a 15.
15, you have heard stories. You have heard of a lich before. These are the kind of stories that are told around campfires of evil magical kings.
I kind of just, the first thing I do, I kind of go to Piper. I'm just tugging at her coat.
What is it, Kreg?
Lich, lich, lich.
And as soon as she snarls the word, the king kind of stands up and starts to turn. And at that point, Piper, you're hearing him say this to you over and over again. And the king turns and you see his shadow stretch out behind him, just slightly.
Oh no.
And he's like, I was hoping for a peaceful transition. I understand that your church is struggling. It seems to me you're committing a coup, Vicar. And you see the Morning Stars, like, getting ready to fight. And Piper, because you know it's a lich, you notice the shadow stretching. This isn't something everyone's seeing.
Is it
Kreg,
attached?
you would notice it as well. It's still attached to him, but it's getting longer and darker, and to anyone else, it might just be a trick of the light. But to you...
Scratch. Jelltur. His shadow. Look at his shadow.
I look at the shadow.
It's stretched out beyond what it should be.
Can I send make it look like I'm just like brushing a piece of hair from my face and do a quick message to Karenina? Look at the king's shadow. We have a lich.
She does.
And all the pieces start to fall into place.
Yeah, everything that you've told her makes a little more sense. And you can see her step doesn't falter. Like she holds it very, very schooled. So the king stood up.
He turned and he basically addressed the vicar as if to say, you're so desperate in your position that you're committing a coup. Is that what this is?
Okay. Right, and Karenina's gonna try and, like, smooth it over, I guess. So, Karenina steps forward and says, Your Majesty, I was just informed of an attack on your son, the prince, and she's kind of stepping forward, and I guess Francois is with her.
Yes, it seems that someone sought to harm my boy. We believed it to be Korth or Dancia, perhaps both working in conjunction. I hired your compatriots from the last mission to suss out who may have been behind it. And it seems they went over my head and committed treason.
No, we found the person who did it.
Under my authority, I had the paladins summoned to investigate and confirm some of our evidence.
Your authority.
Yes, Your Highness, and he gives like a little bow, like trying to, As the head investigator, you gave me the authority to call in experts and to conduct the investigation as I saw fit, and I believe that based on our findings that it was a very crucial matter to have the paladins and also to have our head arcane Vizier Mabnar to come and to do some more investigations,
Well then,
as well as to...
Francois,
Yeah, here we go.
pray tell, who do you believe committed the crime?
Oh, fuck.
Do it.
You see Francois hesitate for a second. And he curls his mustache and he says, well, let's go through the facts.
Oh, absolutely not. The person that did the goddamn deed is the king. The king tried to kill his own son. I'm looking at you, Morningstar. Your king's a traitor. And he's a lich.
Do you say all that? Say
Yeah.
all that out loud? Please tell me you do.
Actually,
Beautiful. I love it.
I'm like, look at his shadow. That shit's going crazy. I'm just pointing out everything now.
The king just kind of looks at you, Jelltur, and goes, guards, arrest them. Roll initiative.
This has been the Reliably Chaotic podcast. Champions of Solane is an original Dungeons & Dragons adventure written by Bryan Scharf using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rule set published by Wizards of the Coast. My name is Bryan Scharf, and I've been your DM. You can reach me at ReliableDM on Twitter.
My name is Nicole Summers, and I play Piper.
This is Jair, also known as JJ, and I play the character of Jelltur Jactus.
This is Matthew Reed, and I play Scratch.
This is Andrew Brown, and I play Kreg.
Bonjour. My name is Sara, and I play the role of Detective Francois Hamburger.
Theme music by Adrian von Ziegler. All other music by Kevin MacLeod on the Incompetech website and Adrian von Ziegler. Detailed information about music in this episode is provided in its description. Music for this episode was selected by Nicole Summers. The episode was edited by Matthew Reed with assistance from Sara. Contact us on Twitter at Reliably Chaotic, email us at reliablychaotic@gmail.com, or join our Discord server by following the link in our description. If you like our show and would like to support us, please consider becoming a patron by going to patreon.com/reliablychaotic or by leaving a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It really does help a lot. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again in our next adventure.
What was the name of the group that he was working with?
What group?
Do we know?
The Blackened Suns?
Well, he had the
The
no, he had the
Blackened
sigil.
Sun.
The spider people, the plot people.
Yeah.
We do not have a name for them.
Oh, great.
We've never had a name for them, though.
Nope.
I have to give you credit, though, monsieur. It is a good plan to kind of really spread out your main antagonist group over many, many episodes and to never reveal their name.
Why, thank you. I have the name right here, but I'm not going to...
You are just a random NPC guard in the background. Why do you have the name of the main antagonists?
Because I'm the voice the DM uses, and once he stops using me, I forget everything, and I become an empty shell of a human being.
So I'm going to keep
No
you talking.
future
Please
or-
tell me the name of the group, and then I will use it as a bargaining chip to remain involved in the plot for the rest of the story.
What's all this then?
God damn it.